February 24, 2024, the Garden of Eden Foundation hosted a charity event where luxury car owners gathered to support the cause. During the rally, a corrupt Okeechobee Sheriff's deputy pulled over one of the participants for all the wrong reasons.
I got you going 63, it's a 35 through town. All you guys are hauling ass down the road because you got your damn.
Sorry,
you know what y'all are doing.
No,
yeah,
I
you
didn't
do.
know it was a split.
You got your license?
Her license?
Yeah, her license too.
The female officer took 25 minutes to finally write a ticket. By this time, a large crowd had gathered, including former NFL Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champion Warren Sapp.
All right, come over here. All right, I'm giving you a citation, okay? 63 and a 35. That's unacceptable, man. That's almost double the speed limit.
Like I said, we're part of the rally. We're having fun,
you can be part of the rally or you can live in town. I completely understand, but going almost double the speed limit's a little unacceptable.
Warren objected to the citation, pointing out that the stop was over and the officer had no reason to keep engaging. But instead of letting it go, the deputies decided to escalate the situation.
This is points though, right?
Yes. But if you do the traffic school, it takes the points off, okay?
So I have a clean license, right?
It doesn't matter. I understand
kind of
that.
worth
Like
at least
I
the
said,
consideration.
With the
There's
amount
not many of us.
With the amount of traffic, I'm trying to educate you, and
It's
with
okay.
the amount of traffic that's coming through
Char,
town.
63 is
this,
not
don't worry.
double 35.
It was clear that he wasn't interfering but just exercising his rights. Yet the officers, unable to handle criticism, reacted in the worst way possible.
What you mean? Stop what?
Are you serious? You want to go to jail today?
Say that shit.
I don't know.
Would you like to go to jail for obstruction?
You get me?
Obstruction is a physical thing.
Would you like to go to jail for obstruction?
Obstruction is a physical thing.
Would you like to go to jail?
With the officers refusing to back down, Warren was threatened for obstructing official business, even though he was only speaking his mind. To his surprise, the deputy finally placed him in handcuffs without justification.
What's your name during the investigation? That's obstruction.
What's your name? What's your name and badge number?
Coon Fair, 734.
Boom.
All right,
734.
Yeah.
Detain for what?
I'll take that.
Detain for what?
They arrested Warren for obstructing official business and placed him in handcuffs. What started as an unfair ticket was now turning into a blatant violation of rights.
He's going to answer that for us, right, officer? Why are you arresting? You know it's illegal for you to watch him do this. Yeah, I am. Right? This is force. This is force. Absolutely. What am I being detained for?
Until I can get your name, that's what we're going to do. You're being detained.
What am I being detained for?
For an obstruction charge to hold, a physical act is required, but the officers twisted Warren's words into a legal offense. When he asked for a supervisor, they ignored the request and locked him in the back of the police cruiser.
I don't have to answer you. I'm not getting in that car. I'm not getting in that car. Why am I getting in that car?
Stop pushing it. Stop resisting. Get back. Get back. Get back.
That's all I want to know. Where's the
Sit
supervisor?
down. Sit down.
Can I get a supervisor?
Sit down.
That's you?
You have anything in your pockets?
A sergeant eventually arrived and spoke to Warren, with Warren allowing him to search. Only then did another officer finally recognize him, but it made no difference. They still refused to let him speak to a supervisor and took him to jail.
I did nothing for nobody.
Right. What is It's all right. Let it off.
Whose car is this?
I don't know whose car this is. This is my car.
You know who he is? Who is that? That's Warren Sapp. That's Warren Sapp.
By the time they reached the detention center, the officers finally realized their mistake. The same sergeant who had initially refused to talk to Warren rushed inside, scrambling to fix what had already been done.
Whatever the explanation is.
No, I'm just asking.
I'm telling
Why he's folding it up?
Mr. Sapp, I'm not going to argue with you.
Oh, no,
You'll
definitely
have-
not going to argue with you.
You'll
I'm just
have, you'll have
asking.
your day in court. I understand that. So
Oh, no, because I just had my rights violated. Your officer said to me, do you want to go to jail? First thing he said out of his mouth to me. I said, excuse me? What's your name? So I laughed, because I do have a right to remain silent, right?
This time, Warren called out their actions, leaving the officers struggling to justify the arrest. Somehow, they had managed to turn a charity event into a legal disaster.
That's all I need. All the officers that was there, body cam and all that good stuff. And
yeah, it'll all be in there. And,
the 1983 deprivation of rights, my first, my fourth, and my fifth.
sir, and you're more than willing.
And I really don't know how me and you couldn't have had this conversation with all those officers. You had the SWAT sergeant there too.
The SWAT sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes, that's who patted me down.
Warren kept mentioning all of his rights, making it clear that these corrupt officers had made a big mistake. The charges were eventually dropped, but Warren filed a civil rights lawsuit against the Okeechobee County Sheriff's Office, demanding $20 million in damages. On February 8, 2023, a journalist named Evan Lambert found himself in a serious confrontation with law enforcement, all because he refused to stop his live coverage of a train derailment.
I am allowed to be here.
Sir, you want to go to jail for criminal trespassing? Do you want to go to jail for criminal trespassing? Do you understand?
You know how quickly our lawyers will get me out?
I don't care.
Sir, out the doors by other media right here. I'm going to listen.
Despite multiple news outlets being present, Major General John Harris and several state troopers singled him out, demanding that he leave. They claimed his reporting was disruptive, but it was clear this wasn't about noise. It was about control.
You're going to walk
Do
out
not
the door.
touch me.
Mine out, sir. You're going to walk out the door, or you're going to jail.
Do not touch me.
Sir, can we talk outside,
I
please?
am trying to
Talk
listen.
outside, please.
And he escalated with me. I am doing my job. This is covered by the First Amendment.
You're going to stand outside,
You are
or you're going to jail.
Major Harris insisted that the journalist's broadcast was interfering with the event, but Lambert pointed out that since when does an officer get to dictate how loudly the press can report? He mentioned his First Amendment rights, but in this case, it didn't come with a built-in volume limit, no matter how inconvenient the truth might be.
arrest. Oh, sir.
You guys, this is bad. Stop.
Instead of allowing him to do his job, officers escalated the situation by taking the journalist to the ground and placing him in handcuffs. This raised serious concerns about whether Major Harris had any legitimate authority to make such an aggressive call.
The reason why he is where he is, he was told to leave, he refused to leave.
Okay.
Then the building superintendent comes over and says, I don't want you here. He still refused to leave.
I didn't
so now
witness
he's arrested. That's his own fault he's arrested.
From the television standpoint of
I understand what
it's
you're
just-
trying to do.
it's
I understand
television.
you guys have a
It's
job
just-
to do.
Yeah.
But when he's told to leave
understand.
by law enforcement,
I
and does not,
can't speak to that.
that's an issue.
Later, the journalist's manager stepped forward with more context, making it clear that this was never about any real violation of the law. And sure enough, all charges were eventually dropped, which hints at a classic textbook case of silencing someone first and worrying about the legal consequences later. In December 2024, First Amendment Auditor Leroy decided to pay a visit to the Union City Police Department to investigate the allegations of nepotism and corruption within their pistol permit system. Wasting no time, he went straight to the source, the police chief's wife, Michelle Zerone.
I got some questions for Michelle Zerone there. Can I ask her? I need to ask her some questions. Oh, hey there. Ask some questions. Good you got your body cam on for that. And some questions about, number one, the gun permits. You're married to Chief Pachini, is that correct? Well, I want to know what kind of collusion. But this is absolutely work-related. I want to know if you're in collusion with your husband on who to give permits to or who. Hold on, I'm not done talking.
The moment Leroy confronted her, Michelle wasted no effort in flipping the script, portraying herself as the victim. Instead of addressing the accusations, she played the harassment card, hoping to divert attention from the real issue at hand.
To defend women, and I feel like now you're harassing me.
Oh, so now you're a sergeant, police sergeant, and you just said because you're a woman, you're a police sergeant. I don't look at you as a woman or a man. I look at you as a police sergeant.
Is it anything work related?
So listen, she just pulled female harassment because I'm asking her a question.
Leroy made some bold claims, backed by the complaints, about corruption in the department, but Michelle's response, or lack thereof, only confirmed the severity of this corruption. Instead of countering with facts, she showed an entitled attitude, acting as if she didn't owe anyone an explanation.
That you're in collusion with them, and you decide who's going to get them and who doesn't together, which is a major conflict of interest.
So here's the application. If that's what you do.
No matter how I feel, I already have people coming to me that says that you have been illegally denying them gun permits. Yeah, number two, about, and was it Detective Contrast? Did you kick her out like you did George Haber?
When pressed about her actions and the public's concerns, she suddenly developed selective amnesia, pretending to have no clue what Leroy was referring to.
That I was told was just that you just had removed because you had a mean girls fight with them.
Is there anything else I can help you?
But that's my question.
Is there, okay, then that's not work related.
Of course it's work related. It's someone who is in this office working with you. So can you believe it? Then she walks away.
Realizing she was running out of ways to dodge the conversation, Michelle made her exit, and as if fleeing the conversation wasn't enough, she pressed the panic button to summon police backup over nothing more than a guy with a camera.
Called you up to babysit? Did they call you up? Hey, oh, hey, hello. Hey, good to see you. Did they call you up here?
I don't know what's going on.
She just accused me of harassing her as a female. I had a question for her, and she says, "Oh, you say you support women. You're harassing me. You're harassing the female. You're a police officer."
The situation could have escalated, but one of the responding officers turned out to be an old acquaintance of Leroy, someone who knew he was a legitimate journalist. Leroy calmly explained that he was well within his rights and had broken no laws.
That's not harassment. So if it's anything having to do with the record,
What a liar.
I will help him. But if he's gonna come here and harass me, then I.
That's not harassment,
Okay.
Sergeant.
Is it about business?
Absolutely, it's about business. Of course, it is. I'm an investigative journalist, and so I'm not going to get into it with you, but I have very very important questions. I needed answers as to that. There's allegations that her and Ficini, they collude. And Ficini, let me see this hello, because you all see this video. That her and Ficini are in collusion.
While Michelle played the harassment card and loyalty to her work, the officer wasn't interested in taking part in any unconstitutional nonsense. He refused to arrest Leroy, ignored any attempts to fabricate a trespassing charge, and let him go without issue. Meanwhile, Michelle shut down the office, locked herself inside, and hid from the fallout. In May 2022, a constitutional auditor named Rowdy Podcast was recording outside St. Louis Park PD in Minnesota. Within minutes, officers confronted him, questioning why he was filming and demanding his ID. What followed was an attempt to force compliance until things took a sharp turn. The auditor walked around the station, filming from a public space. Inside, officers watched on surveillance, labeling him a potential threat. Before he even spoke to them, they were already preparing to step in. Police cars slowly patrolled, keeping a close eye on him. Their presence grew heavier, signaling that an encounter was inevitable. Within minutes, one officer pulled up, ready to confront him.
Hello. Not much, just walking around.
Videotaping the police department's not a good idea.
Why? You guys are friendly people.
We are, but why are we doing this?
Why wouldn't we?
Because it's a security issue for us.
Is it?
It is.
I don't think so.
It is.
It's public property.
It is public property, but when you start recording our perimeter and our gates and what our activities are, it's a concern to us.
I've only been here for about 15 minutes.
We had officers that drove by and saw you pulling out of here, walking out of here.
The officer wasted no time, demanding to know why he was filming. He called it a security issue, but no law was actually being broken. But when asked what law was being broken, he had no real answer.
You don't have a reason.
I don't have to have one.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license I can see?
I don't.
What is your name?
I'm not going to give that to you.
You're not going to give it to me?
No. Why would I give it to you? I haven't done anything wrong.
Well, you're recording our property, you're recording our building.
Sure.
And it's a security issue.
Am I being detained?
You are.
Okay.
The officer pushed for ID, insisting it was a simple request, but rights don't work that way. Police can't demand ID without cause. The auditor knew the law, and he wasn't about to back down.
No, not at all. I'm being polite and cordial.
I'm being polite and cordial too, so I'm asking for
being a
your
little
name and date of
difficult.
birth so we can identify you.
I don't need to.
And be on our way.
Why would I need to identify myself?
Because I'm asking you to identify.
What's your name and badge number?
My name is Todd Hines. My badge number is 200.
Okay. Your name and badge
We're
number?
recording you just like you're recording
Good.
us.
Okay, good.
So.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'd like to be on my way to go.
When the auditor stood his ground, the officer escalated. He declared him detained, insisting ID was now required. But without a crime, this was nothing more than intimidation.
No, you're just accusing me of that.
Absolutely, because you're refusing to identify yourself.
That's not against the law.
It's obstructing legal process if we have a reason to ask you.
What's your reason? I've asked you.
Identify you. I just told you.
No, but I asked you.
You're recording our property.
I have to identify myself. Correct. And I have to identify myself if you have a reasonable, articulable suspicion. And what is that?
You're looking to create problems, is what you're doing.
Frustrated, the officer reached for backup, hoping for support. He was certain the sergeant would take his side without question, but he was about to be proven very wrong.
But you're not free to leave. You're correct.
I'm not going anywhere. No, I'm not gonna, I'm not like that.
Nope, that's fine. So what's the problem with identifying yourself?
I just don't.
You don't have to.
I just don't need to.
Don't need to.
Yeah, I haven't broken any laws, and just said you...
Nope, nobody said you broke any laws. I just said that your activity is suspicious to us.
Despite the pressure, the auditor stayed professional and firm. He reminded them that standing on public property isn't a crime. The officers, however, refused to admit they were in the wrong.
Yeah, but I won't video you. No, you're good. How do you get the sweet car?
This gentleman's got a First Amendment right, he says, to videotape our activities around the police department, and he's refusing to identify himself so that we know who we're dealing with.
Okay, you don't want to identify yourself?
Well, I don't need to. He said he doesn't suspect me of a crime or anything, and I'm just
asking.
No, but no, sir, I don't.
The sergeant barely listened before shutting it down. Unlike Officer Hintz, he actually understood the law. The auditor was free to go and didn't have to show ID.
Okay, we're good. Let's go.
Okay. My name's John, by the way. Thanks. Take care, guys.
Cooperation.
What's that?
Thank you for cooperation.
Sergeant, what was your name and badge number?
Sergeant name and badge number 239.
Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
In seconds, the sergeant ended what never should have started. The officers, who had been so confident, suddenly had nothing to say.